Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Dark Phoenix, the last Fox X-Men film. And I'm going to preface this review saying, X-Men are my favorite comic book characters. I have loved this franchise. I grew up with this franchise. The first film came out in 2000. I was 9 years old. And this film has hit me so hard throughout most of my life. And obviously one particular character shaped a lot of things for me, and that was Logan, Wolverine. And when Logan came out, that was devastating. One of the 2 times I've actually cried in a theater watching a film. And knowing that this franchise was finally ending with, which honestly, with all the greatness that Marvel Cinematic Universe has been putting out lately with the last 2 Avengers films and Civil War and Thor Ragnarok, Days of Future Past is still one of my favorite comic book films ever. It's so amazing. X2, X-Men United, X-Men First Class. I love these films. And all the tumult that has been surrounding Dark Phoenix and the reshoots and everything and pushing it back, I was so afraid that this was going to be such a train wreck. And I was honestly pleasantly surprised that this film had a lot more for me than I expected. And I saw the Rotten Tomatoes score of like a 22, knowing that this is made like $33 million this week, and by far the worst opening for an X-Men film. And I guess time has come for this franchise to end. But honestly, it isn't the most memorable and exciting film, but Simon Kinberg, who wrote a lot of X-Men films, writes this film and directs it, and is able to do something with it. Let's look at the positives. Honestly, well, one thing quickly. Hans Zimmer, amazing score. The score in this really sells so many scenes. And it's a powerful score, and it's a standout score. It's memorable. I put this on my Amazon Music right after I saw the film. Great score. And then there's particular sequences, including the third act train sequence that apparently was completely reshot. There's some sick energy in it, and it's an intense battle scene. And honestly, it was something that I really appreciate. Obviously, it's not something at Endgame or Infinity War, but this is gritty and darker. X-Men has always been that, for the most part, compared to the MCU. They do go lighter, go for humor. X-Men is really gritty and grounded and intense. And there's some sequences in this film that really capture that. The performances in this film are a mixed bag. Honestly, Sophie Turner wasn't that bad. I thought, based off of the trailers and from Apocalypse, I thought she was going to be awful and not be able to carry this film. She actually did a fine job in this film. She did a fine job. James McAvoy was great, as always, despite I'm not sure how to feel specifically about some of the things they did with his character. And then Michael Fassbender was great. He wasn't in a whole lot, but he was still really powerful. And I'm actually happy to finally have a Cyclops that I do really appreciate. And I really liked him and the casting for it. And I'm hoping when they reboot X-Men, they actually make him a powerful, strong leader and not what, unfortunately, Cyclops was in the original trilogy. But some of the acting, Jessica Chastain, and here's the thing, she plays as Alien. Apparently this is supposed to be a little more realistic and more grounded towards what the comic books did with this whole Dark Phoenix. It comes from space and everything. Her character sucked. Her performance was flat, and honestly, I wish you legitimately could have cut that whole entire arc out of this story, and it would have worked fine, and reworked a couple of things. I don't get why it was in it. I guess they were trying to be like, ooh, aliens, just like the comics, but it didn't really work, and she was wasted. And God, I'm so glad Jennifer Lawrence is done. She was sleepwalking through this movie, and it showed. One thing that really frustrates me about these newer X-Men films is the aging process of these characters. Shit. Professor Xavier and Magneto are supposed to be like 60, early 60s, late 50s. Doesn't look it. And I feel like that logic kind of bothers me. And honestly, the dialogue in this was pretty bad. Bad dialogue almost the whole entire film. But there were things that worked for me in this film. I thought it was a fine film. Well, am I going to rave about this later and say I absolutely love this film? No. But honestly, it was an alright film. And an alright way to end this franchise and let Marvel take over. I'm glad to say that this wasn't a complete dumpster fire and just completely disappointed me. But those are my thoughts on Dark Phoenix. I know a lot of people have very strong feelings, so please comment below. Let's chat about this. I love talking movies, and I'll definitely talk about X-Men all the time. So let's talk some movies. Let me know what you think. And thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland Reviewer.